So today I'm really lucky. You join me at Molly's Diner, which is a really cool location here in Oxfordshire, where we are getting the first UK drive of the ID Buzz. There's the ID Buzz Cargo and the ID Buzz People. So gonna have a real good look at these and yeah, see what they're like. It's great to finally drive one. Okay, well, so the big question is, what is this like to drive? And first impressions are, it is lovely. It is really, really nice. I've heard a few reports that there's quite a lot of tyre noise. Now, compared to our Tesla, I don't think it's bad. We're on very smooth roads here, and I suppose the tyre noise is the thing that stands out as far as noise, because the rest of the cabin is really, really quiet. This is on the larger wheels, so maybe that's a contributing factor, but it is really, really nice to drive. It's really easy. The seats are really comfortable. You've got a couple of armrests. The ride is lovely and comfortable actually as well. I thought it'd be quite firm because it's on big wheels, and obviously electric cars are heavy, so you do need to have fairly firm suspension to absorb that weight, but it's not. It's nice and smooth. So this is the single motor one. There is a dual motor one coming eventually in maybe a year or so. Plenty quick enough. Obviously we're empty. Maybe if you've got 5 people, it might be a bit different. A couple of us in the car, it's absolutely fine. It's got plenty of pull away from roundabouts. If anything, the speed rises quicker than you're expecting. It masks its acceleration really, really quite well, but it's plenty quick enough. One of the things that I have noticed is that the regen braking isn't on by default. You actually have to turn it. There's like a D for drive and then B for, I assume, braking. And you have to turn that to activate the regen braking. A bit like it used to be in an old Prius, actually. That's how they used to have it. You used to have to lock it into a B position when you went down a hill to give you a bit of regen. Coming from driving an electric car, it's much more intuitive having it with the engine braking on, so yeah, I've defaulted to putting that B in, but yeah, taking a little bit getting used to all the indicators, wipers, lights, the lot. They're all on one stalk, and then the other side is essentially your gearbox as such. So yeah, when we first got into it, I was expecting to engine brake and nearly running over the traffic lights, so it's definitely a lot easier when I've now got it in regen braking, but it's really quiet. The actual cabin is really quiet. It's nice. So talking about the range, that's probably one of the most important things. They were fully charged up when we jumped in. We've now got 89% range, and that's showing 255 miles, which is probably a little bit more than I was expecting, actually. We're just going round Bicester. So we're on the ring road going around Bicester, and we're doing 2.9 miles per kilowatt hour. So interestingly, we've just come up to Bicester Heritage, and we're outside a certain Mr. JWW. You may have seen him, I'm sure you have, on YouTube, but this is his kind of production facility, so it's really interesting to go and have a look. But whenever I've played around with the car configurator and spec'd an ID Buzz up, this one is always where I end up. So it's the dark blue, starlight blue, and it's got the sort of the bigger wheels, but it's all one colour, and I can just imagine this lowered with some bronze wheels tucked up into the arches would look so cool. I'd also like to, if I go around the front here, I'd also like to turn, at the minute all the ID Buzzes have white badges on them, but I think that would look cool if that was sort of painted bronze as well to match the wheels. But I like how this one is spec'd on the outside, and I also love how ours is spec'd on the inside with sort of the lighter interior. It's very cool. So what about the driving position? Well, it's halfway between a van and a car, really, as you'd probably expect. You sit comfy with you're not quite like bolt over the pedals. The pedals are nicely out in front of you, but you do sit high up. And also, with the windscreen being really far away from you, you've got like quite a narrow opening where the windscreen is. It feels a bit more, I don't know, like you're piloting an airliner. It's kind of got that, like, cockpit kind of feel to it, which is really nice, actually. It's just something a little bit different. I like I thought it'd be an issue with a blind spot, because you've got sort of an A pillar, like an A plus pillar, but with the big window there, it's all right, actually. The blind spot's not too bad. Infotainment system, well, it's quite well known that the ID infotainment system is a little bit hit and miss. For a brand new vehicle, I do think it's a little bit laggy. It takes a while to boot up, and if you change the screen and stuff, it takes a bit of time. It's also trying to be a little bit too clever. Every time I say anything, it thinks I'm saying hello ID, or whatever the trigger word. Yeah, that's the word, so I need to cancel that. It thinks that I'm talking to it to do some voice command stuff, which I'm not. So yeah, I think it's well known that it's not their strongest infotainment system that they've made, but when you're just using the sat nav, driving along fine, it does generally work okay. Everything is in there, the sound system is good, the controls are all there, but it just takes a little bit of getting used to. So we've just taken a drive over to Fastened, I think it is. Fastened. Is it just fastened? So we've just taken a drive over to this Fastened place. It's a 300 kilowatt charger, bespoke made for charging, and it's quite interesting to see. I just wanted to come and have a look at one of these. Like, I've seen the grid serve ones that look amazing, sort of service stations just for EVs, but I wanted to come and check out this one. But there's no one else here, amazingly. But these are 300 kilowatt chargers. We're not actually charging because we don't need to. But yeah, we thought we'd come and take a look at this. But let's have a closer look around the actual ID Buzz. Now we actually finally have a break in the weather so that we can have a closer look at the ID Buzz. Now, for those of you who want a real detailed look,
we actually went to the press launch, the UK press launch, where we had a nice close look at all the different bits inside. Now that was one of the first production ready vehicles available, and there was actually a couple of things that are different on this model, which is a full production model. So if you actually want to look more in detail at the ABUS, check out the video linked in the description below, where we had a nice close look indoors away from the British weather. But let's point out some of the stuff that is different on this one. Now obviously you can see the paintwork. I love that bottom colour. I think they look fantastic all in one colour. They still look great with the white on the top, but they're all in one colour is just, yeah, perfect in my opinion. This is on the bigger wheels. The smaller wheels are also very nice. I don't think it rides particularly harsh on the big wheels. I think it rides quite nicely. However, we are coming from a lowered T6.1 on 20-inch wheels, so we probably are going to think that most things are a smoother rider than ours. Right, let's have a look around the front. I've already spoken about how I would spec one. I'd spec it all in this colour on the bottom here, but yeah, it looks really smart. Let's have a look inside. So we've got a fair few bits of our own in here, but this has got the light interior and then the dark blue contrasting sort of side bits. This, interestingly enough, this is actually all animal free interior, so there's no leather used, and it feels really, really nice. This is like a suede cloth material and a cloth on the side here, and it feels really, really nice. We've got electric seats. You can get nice and comfy. You've got armrests on both sides. There's one on this side, and that's the same on the passenger seat as well. You've got the box in the middle. There's a few of our bits in here. What we got? So interestingly, you've got a cup holder. Now, every time we've bought a VW van, that has ended up in the garage because we never use the ashtray, obviously, or coin holder, whatever you want to call it. So that ends up in the garage, chucked out the way. You also have these separators, and these are actually ice scrapers as well. Quite a few manufacturers are doing that now, but nice little touch. Yeah, bit of storage. And then another thing to point out actually on the seats, you've got this extendable bit, which makes it a bit more comfortable underneath your knee. Coming from a Tesla, it's quite nice to have the speedo in the middle, right in front of you. And yeah, we spoke about sort of driving it and having that extended dashboard. You know, the windscreen is really far away. This video doesn't really do it justice, but it's quite a unique sort of perspective when you're driving. So let's have a look in the back. Now, this one isn't fitted with it. This is just manual doors, but you can get sliding doors, electric sliding doors as an option. The doors are nice and light. You don't necessarily need electric. It's just a luxury, I suppose. But then you've got the 3 seats, as you can see. Isofix on the 2 outer seats. No armrest in the back here. There's not even an armrest in the middle either. They are a 60-40 split, so you can drop both the seats right down and make a nice flat load bed. On the back you've got these trays that you see in quite a few of the VWs now, so you can put your cup on there, and you also have a little phone pocket on the back there as well. Let's have a look in the back, because this is probably where the biggest differences are actually. So in the I think it was pre-production, it's quite hard to tell. It was very, very close to production ready that we saw at the press launch. It's straight from Germany. One of the biggest differences is this just had a flat floor. There was nothing in here. There was no parcel shelf or shelf that you get in the actual production ready one. So that's quite nice. You know, for us, with a big dog, Bentley could sit on the back here potentially, and you may still be able to fit a pram underneath there or something. You know, you've still got a bit of space. which is quite nice. Often when you've got a big dog, you put a big dog in the boot, you have no other space available, but that's quite good. Also, you can see you've got a retractable sort of load cover, so that it's not too bad. No one can actually see your stuff in the boot. But yeah, it's a huge boot. It's absolutely massive. It's yeah, impressive, and it's really nice having that extra space. That under there is, well, a few other goodies, but that's where you'd store your charging cables, I assume. There's no frunk in this vehicle, just the storage in the boot. This one is fitted with the tow bar, electric tow bar. Whoop, out it pops, and then you just lock it into place. And then, does it go back away? Or do I have to kick it away? Got to put it back manually. Interestingly, in the briefing that we had at the start of the day, they wanted to dispel any rumours about what models are going to be available and what isn't going to be available, etc. Next up, we will be seeing a long wheelbase 7-seater. Now, I'm not sure how those extra 2 seats will be configured. I don't know if you'll be able to... The image showed that they're going to be in the back, obviously, but whether they drop down and give you an option to be a 5-seater and a big boot, we're not sure. Next up, there'll be a long wheelbase with also 2 motors. This is a single motor just in the back, but there will be 2 motors available, and no doubt with a longer range and probably more powerful as well. Also, leading on from that more powerful variant, there'll be a GTX version. The GTX version will be a sportier, kind of electric GTI, I suppose. So that'll be interesting. There wasn't much of a time limit on any of these. The only thing they did say was 2024 for the long wheelbase, but also most exciting to our viewers, I would suspect, is there will be an ID California. The ID California isn't coming till the second half of this decade, so you know, we're a long way off that. But it's interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how they go about that, because obviously we're going to have a longer wheelbase available, but in my mind, I don't think it's necessarily the length of the vehicle that's the tricky bit to try and make into a California. It's the width of the vehicle. I think it'd be fairly easy to make this vehicle into a beach style California, but I think it's going to be quite tricky to make it into one with a kitchen. So whether the kitchen variant will have a kitchen out the back here or not, we're not really sure, but it's going to be really interesting to see. However, I think you can almost make this into a bit of a beach anyways. I'm going to show you. So with this load area here, watch what happens when I drop the seats. I think this almost makes a bed. And a pretty big one, actually. Chuck a mattress on top of this and you've got yourself a beach. What do you think? So that's it from Molly's Diner. That's the first drive of the ID Buzz. We didn't really get a chance to drive the ID Buzz Cargo, but I think most of our viewers are probably interested in the ID Buzz People. But hopefully when they're out on the roads, we'll be able to get hold of a cargo so that we can have a closer look at that. But what do you guys think? I think the first deliveries go to customers on around about the 1st of December. So make sure you look out for them on the road, because they look fantastic. We absolutely loved it. Thank you so much to VW for inviting us along. Write in the comments below what you think. Please share the video, like and subscribe, and we shall see you in the next video. Cheers!